Good evening. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It says I'm live. Hey, everybody. How we doing this evening? How are we doing? We're getting live on Instagram. Getting it going. Yes, we are. Hey, everybody. It is Monday. I almost said it was Sunday, but it is Monday. Monday. What does that look like? There's a bunch of stuff on it. There's nothing on it. Just is the way the light's catching it, I guess. It is Monday, Memorial Day. It is May the 27th. I keep wanting to say it's the 28th. Of course, that's tomorrow. May 28th is tomorrow. Maybe I'll change these to warm. How does that look? Does that look warmer? That brightness was like bright, bright. Ugh. That's kind of gives a tinge though to the color. Either way, we're here and we're here to see what kind of stuff happened last week. What kind of things are we going to talk about coming up this coming week? I probably need to turn on or get my screen together that includes. I need to get the screen together that includes the information we need to share. How about we do that? How about you do that, little girl? Okay, let's see about it. Let's see about it. Hope everybody had a really good trading week. I was didn't really trade a whole lot. If you're in my community, you probably saw the email I sent. If you didn't see your email, maybe go check it out. I sent an email last week. I was tending to my youngin, and I didn't do a whole lot of trading. It just didn't lend itself to the trading environment. Trading needs an environment. And if you're going to be distracted when you're trading, don't do it. If you're going to be distracted trading, what that is a recipe for money loss. That's what that is. I don't know why this is going so slow. So I'm going to close some stuff and see if that helps the situation. Going. I'm assuming Instagram says we're live. Okay, let me see what else is on that needs to be turned off. That maybe is causing things to slow down. Slow it down. Ooh, watch out. I can't sing with so much of the song because when you sing too much, they get you on copyright infringement. And that ain't what we're after here. All righty. It's Sunday of Monday. Oh, my. I'm so used to being here on Sunday. I missed y'all last week. Jamie covered us all week long in the morning calls, and I so appreciate the fact that he was willing and able, because it's one thing to be willing, another thing to be able. He was willing and able to cover these calls in the morning, and I'm so grateful just to have someone who can step in because I don't want to have to cancel the calls. I used to do that all the time, and then if he's one of the people who started fussing, like, just because you can't do it doesn't mean it has to be canceled. And I was like, I don't know who else would do it. And he was like, there's people, and I'm people. So he was people, and he does that for me. He definitely steps in to assist, and your girl be grateful for that. Okay, let's look at what we had from last week, way last 1 week ago. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, I probably can. Probably can. Let me see which things we want to look at. Well, I probably can just go here. It'll be easier to just go here. Let's do that. Sharing my screen. Screen one. Alrighty. This was Oxy. We don't want to look at Oxy. We want to look at SPX for the week. Last week to see what SPX did. SPX, of course, gives us a look at the overall market. So we can look at that and see just how some stuff did last week. Right now, of course, everything don't move with SPX. I'd like to look at Semiconductors. I want to see what they did last week overall. So let's see. Well, no. This is what our week looked like. A big old doji. Y'all see that? A big old doji is what it looked like for last week, which means the buyers and the sellers are agreeing on the price here. We have to see which way are we going to go. Now there is it popped out going in the upwards direction, right? So there is, if you're a stratter, this would be a 2 up, but it's definitely got some indecision on the candle. So we need to see what's going to happen next, basically, right? But going up, we're into trying to see if there was. I'm sure we're at all-time highs. At this point, the high of last week was 53.41.88. The low of last week was 52.56. Right, that's a little bit more than 100 points difference between the two. 56 to 41, not quite, maybe like 90 points. Right. So let's see what the days held. Let's see what the days look like while we did that. We had some big earnings. Well, the biggest earnings last week was NVIDIA. NVIDIA had earnings on Monday. We had FOMC last week, NVIDIA had earnings on Wednesday. And we also had FOMC during the day on Wednesday. NVIDIA was after the market on Wednesday. So those two things together caused a little bit of a upsidedness or upset. Good morning, Janae. I know it's not morning, it's afternoon. It's actually evening now, right? 5 o'clock would be called evening. All right, so this is what the days look like, okay? Each of the days. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was kind of a indecision or hammer with a little wick here, which would have given you the indication that it probably was going up, which it did. Basically, it gapped up on Thursday morning and then fell down. This gap up had to do with NVIDIA on Wednesday evening earning, but basically for the entire day, it fell down. The range was 84 points on Thursday, and it fell down along with several other of the semiconductors. That was a very red day. And then Friday, it ran right into this support. And because the moving averages can operate as support, went right into this support and gave us a green day. But we still ended up the week with a doji on it. So, hey, Marcia. So basically where we are is the week is, again, it's got indecision and we need to figure out, or we need to wait and see. We don't have to figure out. We can wait and see what is to come. It looks like it may want to go up a little more, move on up a little higher, but we do have a trend. The trend is going upwards. As we can see, this has been an upwards ride all the way. Let me see. Let's put us a trend line on it just so we'll have something we can look at. Got a trend line going right here. Right. These moving averages, like I said, will also provide support. That was SPX last week. We probably ended the NVIDIA chart is probably look a lot like that. As far as the days, but this was NVIDIA last week. It had a huge green week last week. And if we look at the daily, NVIDIA has a gap that will want to be filled. We have to, basically the gaps are a wait and see. I actually was watching some videos yesterday about trading gaps, just understanding what's happening at the gap. And all of them, of course, every gap doesn't get filled by, immediately subsequently. It could be, it's a little bit of time that comes before that gap gets filled. But in this case, sometimes the gap then operates as support or resistance, depending on where the gap is. And like in this case, boom, and then the next day, this gap, even though it was a little bit higher, still played some support. But if we look at, you can kind of, not that you necessarily want to trade NVIDIA, but you can look at some of the NVIDIA, the sympathy. There we go. The sympathy trades. You can look at some of the NVIDIA sympathies, and those could provide you some opportunities. One thing that I always tell our community to look at is to take a check and look at SOXL. SOXL is a part, is a semis ETF, So you can always look there and see what's going on with that. OWN is actually on. OWN is one of the ones we will look at today, I believe, in our stock charting. But that's one of the. This is one of the semiconductor video. I mean, sorry, trade ideas we'll look at. We're gonna. You see here, we got this big. This was the same red that was on SPX. It closed up this gap that was here. There was a gap here. This is in the semiconductor space as well. There was a gap here. And Thursday's candle filled it right on in. So, nope, we're good. And then this gap that was down here also got filled in by Thursday's candle. I believe that gaps do ultimately get filled. The question is just when. And when they do start getting filled, you just, trade accordingly. And what you do, you trade accordingly. All right. So that was last week. I want you to be thinking about what stocks you want us to look at, because we do have a list that we have for our graphic this week. But if you got something else that's not on the graphic, then we can look at those. All right. Let's look at what we have for information this week. We do have some earnings this week. Some earnings. It's a short week. Now, this is the key. It's a short week. Of course, today is a holiday, so we didn't trade today. People who trade futures, they were trading today, though. I saw a few folks on Twitter talking about they really love futures because futures trades either way. Personally, I'm glad to have the break to just be chilling, because I'm thinking on the days when, I'm thinking on the days when the market is closed, that futures may have like low volume and that kind of thing. But the people who can't trade in the regular market probably going over the futures and have a ball. They probably have a ball. Okay. So today after close, even though there was no market close, CAE had earnings. Okay. Tomorrow morning, Scotiabank. I'm not sure who this is. Momo, maybe. Momo is here. Futu, F-U-T-U. Danos. This is DA says somebody's shipping. This is a shipping company. Elbit Systems, Ice Cure, Nanox, and BioLine. Looks like some pharmaceutical stuff. Tomorrow after close, we're going to have Kava, which isn't Kava a restaurant? I think Kava is a restaurant that somehow I'm remembering. I can see that on a building. Digital Turbine, Heiko, Box, Joy, Uma, Kosan. And then Wednesday morning, I actually want to look at Abercrombie and Fitch. So I'm going to put that on my list. I don't think it's on our trades list as far as the graphic goes, but I'm interested in how they've managed since they were on the huge run up for a while. Chewy is here. There's some people I think that trade Chewy. Lots of folks. I see the boxes in my neighborhood, people who buy their dog food, but I don't know anybody who trades it. We got Dick's Sporting Goods, Advanced Auto Parts. Those are two big boys. BMO, Call Plants, Nordic American Tankers, maybe that is. I think that's Tankers. CMCO, Columbus McKinnon, and a lot. ALLOT and MetaWound. And then Wednesday after market closes, we've got Salesforce, C3AI. Remember C3AI, we was all over that when it first came out. We'll see what happens this week, though. We've got Path, Okta, Nutanix, if you want to call that, Agilent Technologies. I think Agilent, no, I was thinking Alcoa. HPQ is on the list, Hewlett Packard, Pure Storage is here, American Eagle Outfitters, and AMSC. And then Thursday before the market opens, we've got Canopy Growth, which goes into the cannabis space. Foot Locker, Dollar General, Kohl's, Best Buy, Hormel, Maxion, Burlington, Birkenstock, and Cracker Barrel. Thursday after close, we've got Costco, Dale, Zscaler, Marvell, Mongo, Ulta, Sentinel One, NetApp, Viva, Elastic, and then Friday morning before market opens, we've got GCO and DOOO. DRP is what the name of that company was. DRP. Those are some earnings. So let's see which ones are of interest for the week. We'll probably, I'm thinking Abercrombie and Fitch may have some interest just because of what I mentioned already. You also have these big ones. Advanced Auto Parts is one of the last big move. When I say big movers, it's one of the last that has pretty big ATR. I'm thinking Dick's too, but Costco, I'm sure will catch some interest as well. Those are the only ones, and maybe HP are the ones. C3AI may cause some interest. May cause some interest because of what it was doing in the past, but we'll have to see. We just have to see what happens there. Okay. Here's our graphic. We're going to just look at part of it. If you're in one of my communities, which is the E2T crew, if you're part of the E2T crew, one of the communities, you can see this entire graphic. It includes all the numbers and all the stuff. Otherwise, you got some ideas here, and let's see what's of interest here. Let me see. We can look at if you see something on here you want us to look at, put it in the chat. I'm gonna put Amazon on our list. I think CCJ is one I want to look at as well. CCJ is on another list of mine I want to see. Did y'all know that Carvana's in the 100s? I didn't know Carvana had already inched itself back up to over $100. It done got itself right on up above $100. And then let's look at our iron condors. Let's look at the two that are on the iron condor list, Datadog and Baidu. I don't really trade Baidu. Datadog is there. Kroger, Devon. AMD. Okay, we'll put AMD here on the list. AMD. You know, for those of you who are waiting on Peakbot, those of us, I would say you, those of us who are waiting on Peakbot to come, Peakbot is now live on Schwab. Yes, those of us who are working with Peakbot, automated trading for option sellers, it is now live on Schwab. Many of us were doing Peakbot with TD Ameritrade, and now they've gotten the link together with Schwab. If you're not sure about how to, we can go through it together here if you want to. If you're signing up if you have signed up for Peakbot, then yay. And if you need to get switched over from TD Ameritrade, because if you had TD Ameritrade before, right, Marion? If you had TD Ameritrade before, you need to disconnect from TD Ameritrade, even though it's no longer there. You need to disconnect from TD Ameritrade and then reconnect, or then connect to Schwab. If you had it already, that's what you need to do. If you did not have it already and you want to get Peakbot, which is, again, options selling, right? Automated trading for option sellers, right? If you want, I got those two, JG. If you want to get yourself hooked up with the automated trading with Peakbot, then you need to go ahead and you can use the link. It is you use peakbot.com/E2T. That puts you right in line. It gives you 25% off of your monthly fee. They'll give you 25% off of your monthly fee. Now, what I did have a question about, let me see if I got it answered. If it was, it's 25% off for the first quarter. Okay, so let me put this in the comments. Use Peakbot to do peakbot.com/E2T. Now, what I didn't have any 25% off for one quarter. I didn't have Peakbot last week because I switched over to Schwab with everybody else last week. So I wasn't personally trading, which it would have been a perfect time for Peakbot to be trading for me, but Peakbot wasn't connected to Schwab just yet. So basically just kept me, not trading really at all. Good thing about Peakbot, you're going to do, if you're interested, one of, I guess, the best stuff, the main bot that we're using at this point is the wheel bot, which is doing put credit spreads for you based on the things that are on the watch list, right? So you've got peakbot.com watch list. There we go. So you can look at the watch list. You pick your stock. It does put credit spreads for you based on the things you see on the watch list that you choose. You're the one who chooses the stock. Now, what's coming soon still working out. They've got a few bugs they're working out. Is the trend spread bot, which that's the one I really like. I'm actually beta testing it now. I'm in the beta testers, but it's a trend spread bot, and the trend spread bot is going to be able to pick call credit spread or put credit spread for you, right? You're going to pick the stock, and the bot will determine, the algorithm, the bot will determine whether you should do a put credit spread or a call credit spread. If you're working with the wheel, though, the wheel is going to only put credit spreads. So how do we make sure that works for you? You basically you need to select bullish stocks that are on the watch list. Pick the ones that are bullish, because a put credit spread is a bullish move, right? You're looking for it to go up. So you look on the watch list and pick that way. I will tell you, if you are using the watch list from Peakbot, but you're not a Peakbot person, that's gonna stop, right? They're gonna cut that off. If you're using the watch list from Peakbot, but you're not signed up as a user of Peakbot, you're not going to be able to see those watch lists until you get registered in, until you get signed in. Okay. So that's just something I want you to keep in mind as we go forward. But I'm telling you, I've used TQQQ, and I used it for DAL. I used it for TQQQ for weeks on weeks on weeks. And every week came out profitable, right? TQQQ didn't bite me. I got bit by some other little stock. But TQQQ held up the entire time. When it's bullish, it's bullish. When it's bearish, it's not. It's bearish. So we were able to trade. I was able to trade it with no problems. But what I love about it the most is the bot just enters the trade, collects your premiums, and then the trade is there. You're not watching, hoping for the right time, hoping you don't get busy, hoping you don't miss your entry. The bot does all this stuff for you. And then a few days, 2-3 days later, I actually close my own. You can let the bot close it for you, but I close my own. And that's one thing that I love about the automated trading is the algorithm decides what strikes to pick and when to pick them and when to enter the trade. It takes all the stuff off my head. You want to hook up with Peakbot as a seller, which I suggested strongly. Go ahead. Sim May is wrapping up. It's wrapping up. I do that to my husband sometimes if we're out and about and he's kind of holding conversation. I'll be far in the distance and I'll look at him and I'll give him the wrap it up sign. You can go ahead and wrap it up. We finna go, bro. But sometimes he does that to me too, so it's not one-sided. Believe me, he has to come to me and say, "We leaving?" Anyway, Sim May is wrapping up. If you've had some success with Sim May, put me some dollar signs in the chat. Even if there's Sim dollar signs, put some dollar signs in the chat. If Sim May worked for you, it did for me. It allowed me to work on entry on some. I was working on debit spreads, and Sim May has allowed me to do debit spreads, and it got me back to being involved and interested in all my stuff, because I have so many things I be checking out and seeing what we doing here, what's next. And Sim May gave me the opportunity to try some stuff. Okay, but for June, we got something else. I'm going to the charting. I promise you I'm going to the charting. In June, this is what we're doing in June. Hey, Tanya. I see JG said she got some money. She got some money on the Iron Condor. Iron Condors. Yep, that's where you check that out. We're on for June. Our challenge is the Start with the Chart and Make More Profits challenge. We're doing a week at the beginning of the month. We're going to do a week-long challenge of Start with the Chart and Make More Profits. The chart is the foundation of trading. It is the foundation. For a long time, I'm going to just be very transparent. I learned how to trade. Oh, that's Janae. Okay. Hey, Janae. For a long time, I learned how to chart. I learned very early in my trading career how to chart, but then I really didn't use charting a lot. I just was winging it, throwing it at the wall and hoping it stick. And then you look up one day and it ain't sticking, and you're like, wait, no, my account don't seem to be growing. What's going on? It's because I wasn't charting. I was like, oh, this is a good place. Let's just go with it. Now, you can use things like delta and the probability out of the money. You can use some other things to help you potentially pick good strikes. But when you're charting, you have the opportunity to potentially get in sooner or to enter better. So, like if you know that the trade is or the stock price is coming towards support and you know that support and it bounces off of there, you got a better chance of getting better premiums because you know this is support. So you can get a little closer, not just depend on the option chain, but you can go with price action to help you as well. Either way, join the challenge. The challenge can be found at my website, educator2trader.com. If you're already in my community, no need to sign up because y'all know if you're already in my community, you're already included. So you don't have to worry about signing up. If you're already in my membership, when I say my community, I have to make sure I clarify that because my community is big, but the people who are in my membership, not so much. So if you're in my membership, you're already included in everything. If you're in my free challenges from before, or if you're in my free Telegram group, then you need to go ahead and register and sign up. Okay, you need to go ahead and register and sign up. Start with the chart and make more profits challenge, June the 3rd through the 7th at 7 p.m. each night. Hey, Deborah, it's free to enroll, but if you want VIP access, it's going to be $47, and that includes charting analysis, trade ideas. Basically, you're going to get more stuff. That's how that always goes, right? You get more stuff. You're going to get to be able to ask your questions. You're going to be able to have us look at particular stocks and get some trade ideas on that. Of course, if you're not in the VIP, for those who are just in the free to enroll, we're going to run through the information. Then we're going to be like, okay, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. VIP also gets you recordings, all those good things. These, as that boy says on, he's not a boy, on, that guy says on TikTok. I think his name is Terry. He does a lot of food reviews or whatever. All right, so that's what's going on. Go over to the website and I'm writing this note down so I remind myself that recordings are going to be a part of the VIP includes recordings. No VIP, no recordings. That's how that goes. Okay. Let me see. Do I have anything else after this that we need to check out? Well, the membership is here. If you're in my membership, you get access to all the stuff that we do. Membership includes our morning calls, our weekly training calls, our monthly calls, all the good stuff. Actually, this month, I think we're going to look at some debit spreads. We're going to look at a little bit of buying stuff. Is that what I said we were going to do, Janae? Janae was given the job of reminding me of what we were supposed to look at. Oh, no, that's not what we're doing. We're supposed to look at how to defend your credit spreads. That's what we're doing this coming coaching call. This is the June coaching call, is how to defend your credit spreads. If I put it down, maybe I won't forget it again. How do we defend your credit spreads? That's our June coaching call for this coming up. That's what's coming up. Okay. All righty. I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. If you're going to join the membership, you can head over to my website. It's over there too. Let's go on to looking at some charts. A chart party. We say we're having a chart party. It's a chart party. Chart party. It's a chart party. Are we ready? Y'all got your you need the little blowy things. I hope y'all didn't eat too much barbecue. Y'all eat too much barbecue. We went to a friend's house yesterday on our way back home, and my friend had barbecue chicken, and they gave us some barbecue chicken for the road. And I was so grateful because I didn't want to have to come home and cook it ourselves, but it was good that they loved us enough to give us a to-go bag. Got some grilled chicken. Okay, we're looking at Abercrombie and Fitch. And this isn't on the list for this week, but it has earnings this week. So I wanted to see Abercrombie and Fitch. They had a good little big run there for a while. See all this right here? Whoop, whoop. They had a big old run. And they pulled back a bit. I bet if I put the fib on it, it pulled back to about the 30, maybe the 50. And then it took back off and went on again past the previous highs. Okay, so let's see if I get some lines. This is the daily chart we're looking at. Support right above this right here. This bottom, the low here was the low 141. So the support is at 139.63 and support is at 140. I mean, that last candle dropped down to 141. No. Okay. Again, it's earnings is coming up. So Abercrombie, I just was curious to see what it looked like. But Abercrombie and Fitch is since they're having earnings, I wouldn't get onto the trade until after. I believe their earnings is Wednesday morning. I wouldn't jump in. Hey, Lorenzo, and hey, Valerie. I wouldn't jump in on it until after earnings if I was going to do that. If I was going to trade it at all, I would definitely wait for after earnings. Okay, well, there's a gap here that it's going to need filling. It's going to need that gap filled. Okay. Abercrombie and Fitch. Again, I'm not going to offer any trade ideas. It is on an upwards ride. So if I was doing something, it would be probably a put credit spread, but I would definitely wait until it came out of earnings before I made any move. That's just me. That's just me. Okay, AMD. Let's look at AMD. Now, AMD is going to be in that semiconductor space. This was Thursday, just like NVIDIA, only thing that didn't look like this on Thursday. The other semis sold off. This was Thursday though, but it came right into not that gap, this gap, which it filled up. Well, the wick filled it up, but the body of the candle that didn't close below the gap. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's not filled all the way yet. That's my humble opinion. That gap is filled. This gap here is not fully filled. Oh, yes, it is, because that green candle filled it. And this one down here is still waiting to be filled. Okay. Here we go with that. That one's filled. That one. So this red candle here filled a lot of different gaps. If I was looking overall, let me switch over to the weekly. But if I was looking at AMD, definitely still see that we've got some upwards trending. It has support at 144-ish. There was that gap that didn't get filled all the way. 146 is where that is. I know I've made it very small. I'll make it bigger here in a minute for whoever wanted to see AMD. AMD. What did I put all this in here for? That's what happens. I chart it and then I come back like, what were these lines? Okay, so we've got support at 146.06. I see some more support here at 150.99. So we can put a line back on there. Nope, not that. I need a line. There we go. Okay, 150.99. Resistance is up here at 181. There's some more here at 173. If we're looking at our trend, it was trending downwards for a minute, and now it has reversed the trend. How do we know that it's reversed? Y'all know what this big candle here is called? What's this big candle called? Anybody? Not necessarily via rolling, Janae. There's more to do than just roll. What's this big green candle called? Anybody know? Anybody know what this big green candle is called? What is this one called? I'm wait for Jeopardy music. That's Jeopardy, isn't it? What's this big candle called? We don't have anybody who am I ahead of y'all? I'm waiting. Oh, there we go. I see it. Thank you, Cortez. Lorenzo. Yes, bullish engulfing. Not only is it bullish, it engulfed the two candles. It basically now didn't catch the wick of this one, but it engulfed two candles. This is a good indication that the direction of this had changed. It came down. Boom. This big old monster here, this green one, says we're going the other way. We're going the opposite direction. So now AMD is back into moving in a bullish move. Now this is a weekly. This is a weekly chart, right? This is a weekly chart. So on the week, it's moving on up. Yep, moving on up. So if we switch over to the daily chart, I'm gonna say daily candles, we can see that during last week we did hit some resistance here at 170. Right. So basically we consolidated, for anything, for lack of a better word, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. It kind of consolidated here, came down and filled that gap. And now it has hit the support and goes back. Will it go back to fill some more of the gap? Potentially. But remember, the bottom of a gap is also support that you want to, it can potentially be support. You always want to watch and see if it's going to do its thing. Come down there. And also we have on the daily chart another gap down here between what is this, 153.40 and 155.62. If I was looking at a trade for AMD, I believe I might go on with the bullish moves. Let's go look at the option chain. Remember, as sellers, we like shorter periods of time. Now, the only drawback to shorter periods is that the premiums may not be as nice as you want them to be, but we do like short term as far as trade, staying in the trades. We like short term. If we're looking at, we got a plus minus number of 6.4. So we've taken away that here. We're at like 160, which puts us about here. Did the chart put us at 160 with support? Yep. This right here, the 159.70. The top of the gap would be 160.84. So you do have two things that are really supporting the notion of 160 being a good support area. Okay, I want to move this down a bit. 160.42 came right down here, boom, and then moved on up from there. It was support here. It was also resistance back here in April. So that could definitely be support again. So we look at 157.5, 160, 160 being the support line. Let's look at the vertical. And remember, nothing I talk about is investment advice. I'm just showing you what I see. 157.5, 160 on the put credit spread side. Of course, the market is closed, so these numbers are going to change a bit when the market opens, depending on proximity. Is 37. I want to say, as I always do, when you open up the market tomorrow morning, if you're going to trade AMD, of course, you need to first give time for all the orders from this long weekend to flush out. Do not dare run in there at 9:30 putting on any trades, let alone a selling trade, because there's nothing but volatility that will be at the morning open because people have had an extra day to come up with more stuff, to do more studying. Yeah, don't do that to yourself. Save yourselves. So wait till at least 9:45, 10 o'clock before you do any movement. As sellers, we got till Friday. So you don't have to rush in, okay? But look to make sure you still agree that 160 is a good place for your strike to be. And if it is, then you can go ahead and look at entering this trade. Not sure what the price will be or what the proximity of the price will be, or what this limit, but definitely check the chart. Start with the chart before you enter. Again, don't just blindly enter based on, let's just say at 160. Yes, I did. And I'm saying 160 now based on what I can see now, right? By the time pre-market gets going tomorrow, you're going to see some things maybe moving, people buying or selling in the pre-market. You're also going to let the market open, see what orders come in, see what starts to move as far as that goes, okay? What I see, though, at this point is 157.5, 160 on the put credit spread side. Okay, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna put it in the order. Let me put it in my orders. I'm going to put it on good till cancel. This is how you do that. I went from over here. You can change it from day to good till cancel. That means the good till cancel means it's just going to sit there till it gets picked up. Right? I've already put in what's here. And if it doesn't get to this same price, it'll basically just sit there. But it'll be a reminder to me that I'm here. I am here. Okay? That's what it's going to remind me that it's here. All right, so that was Abercrombie & Fitch, AMD. We just did that one. Let's move to Amazon from A to Z. Amazon from A to Z. We got any questions along the way? Y'all be sure to ask them along the way. Along the way. Along the way. Make sure you ask your questions along the way. Okay, this is Amazon we're looking at. Amazon. Let's switch over to the weekly chart and see what we see here. Wonder why that's doing that right there. Okay. Did I pick a different mouse or something? Let me see. We've got still got lots of bullish movement. Lots of bullish movement. Okay. So this is the weekly chart again. Every candle is 1 week's worth of data. Let me put this gap on. I do see that there is a gap here, and I don't believe it's been filled. Not quite. It's close, though. Very close, but not all the way filled. We do have resistance up here in the 187 area, 187.77. And if we're looking at support, we can actually check the bottom of this gap, which we see this wick has even showed us that. And then we have support down here. See, there's probably 2 sets in here. Let me get rid of you. The biggest one here, 174.57. This whole, remember, anytime you put a line on for support is really just there for, it's a zone. It's not just a hard line. Support is never a hard line. It is a zone. Support is a zone. Okay, we've got some touchies. Probably could touch in here would be a better. So this red has come out of the zone, but it's probably going to come back in. And I did this trend, touch these two, touch these two. This has dropped below it, but it's most likely, if I was to speculate or you guess, it's going to come right back into that zone. But we're basically between resistance and support. We're basically hanging out in here. What is to go next? Will Amazon push on through, going on upwards past 187, or will it come on through this support area of 174? Will it come on through this 179, then 174? We'll see. Let's go to the daily chart. See what the daily chart has to offer us. Where are you? There we go. Okay. Kind of dancing around. I'm seeing consolidation. Yeah, it's just kind of bouncing. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So keep that in mind. Look at all these candles that were in between 179.76 and 187.77. If we wanted to put another daily, we got some more room up here. And this can go up as high as the 191.70. So, of course, you want to keep that in mind. But you've got some moves right over here. Just kind of has been in here, dropped out of this zone, but then came right back into it. So I'm still bullish on Amazon. I'm not sure if anybody else is, but I'm still bullish on Amazon. So if I was going to look, at this, you're looking at the overall trend of what Amazon's been doing, it's just been going. It pulls back a little bit, but they all do because they have to rest. We got to take a break. It's taking a break, but I think Amazon is going to continue. My own you guess. Like I said, I think it'll continue to move on up. So I would look at put credit spread again. And I believe Amazon is on the put credit spread list. I think it's, let me see, what did I come up with on the put credit spread list? I believe it's on that graphic. Come on, Cletus. There we go. Amazon 172.5, 175. 172.5, 175. Well, that puts us right in here with this 174.57 puts us right at this support in this area where my mouse is moving around. That puts us here. 172.5, 175. So if we're looking here, 172.5, 175. Currently, that looks like it would only pay $16. Now, I wouldn't be a fan of it at $16. The market's closed, but I wouldn't be a fan at this price because I like to have at least 20, not 25. It would be $25, at least $25 in premium because I want at least 10%. So I wouldn't be as interested in that strike price. But let's go look at it as a single and see if we see. Okay, we got a plus minus 4. So if we subtracted 4 from here, that puts us at 175. And then probability out of the money, if you were being a little more aggressive, you could go to 177.5, 175. You'd want to be sure that it's going to stay above 177.5. If you went with that one's paying $39. Now, this is one I'd be a little more interested in. Let me change that to good till cancel. I'd be more interested in it because it at least provided the 10% premium. But I want to show you something as to what makes me say yes to that, right? 177.5. 177.5 has a probability out of the money of 75%. That's what would move me to say, okay, I really go with 70% and above. So this puts it in the criteria for me. I do take into account the plus minus 4.22. So to take away 4.22 puts us at like, 166, 176 or something like that. So it will be close, right? But I feel like Amazon is still bullish. I won't say I'd be willing to risk it, but I'd be willing to risk it. So don't always work out. Now that don't always work out. Believe me when I tell you, doesn't all work out. But the good thing is though, if you're here and you decide you want to do 177.5, 175, and you take in $40, right at $40. Well, if we're talking about getting out of our trades in the 50% mark, when you're at 50% profit, well, you take in 40 at the beginning and you exit in the 50% range of profit, you're going to get out at the $15, $20. So you're not staying. Most of us as sellers, we don't stay till expiration. We're not staying till expiration. No, because anything can happen. Multiple days, you're like, what? No, we're getting in on Tuesday. If the trade does what we want and we can get out for $15 or $20, we buy it back, then we're going to be gone. Take our little money and run. Keep our $20, $25. I like to get at least $25 from a trade. I'll take in my 25%, my 10%, $25 and be on to the next thing. So that's my thought. I'm always very conservative when I put this graphic together. I'm always very conservative. Where is it? Okay. I'm always very conservative with the numbers that I put on this graphic because I know that we've got a community of people, some of which are seasoned traders of credit spreads and some of which are not. So I'm very conservative with the numbers I put on here. There may be numbers that I would put into, I might pick different for me individually, but that's not what I would like to suggest that someone else do. Okay. Okay, I believe I did that one already. Okay, that was Amazon. Any questions so far? If you've got questions or you see something I'm missing, let's talk about it. Talk about it. Ooh, baby. Let's talk about it. Okay, I can delete this because I already put that order in. The next on my list is CCJ. CCJ. I think this is what? Kamiko Corp. What does CCJ do? Does anybody know? They have shown up on our list multiple times, but what does CCJ do? Kamiko Corp. Somebody tell me in the chat, what does CCJ do? What do they do? What do they do? What do they do? They have been on an upwards ride. This is the weekly candle, weekly chart. Still got some upwards. They went up, pulled back a little bit and went up some more, gathered some strength and moved up some more. Okay, so if we're looking at the weekly chart, we'll probably go with this as some support where this turned around was resistance before. Still shows that that's an area of resistance here, but then now price is above it, so it will start to play support. Anybody know what CCJ does? I don't want to take the time to go searching for it. Of course, I can find out. CCJ. Okay, so that's the weekly chart. You know, they're an energy company. Okay, CCJ is energy. Uranium producer. I didn't know they produce uranium. Uranium, not vibranium, right? You can tell I'm a Marvel fan. I am, I say. A uranium producer. Okay, so they're on an upwards right. I believe CCJ is also on our put credit spread list. Let me see if it's on the one we just looked at. I think so. Yep, CCJ 5051 on the put credit spread side. 50 uranium fuel needs to energize a clean air. Yeah. I don't think I looked at six. I want to make sure I put I want to make sure I put a call credit spread thing on the list. Okay, so I'm gonna do Intel. I guess we could also look at Cisco. Let's go to the daily chart. The daily chart. Okay, we're looking here at the daily chart. We've got support at 51.74. Another support and or resistance at 52.75. Notice this last candle went through it, but it closed above it, which closing above it means it may have some opportunity to go on. But this is a setup, if you want to call it that. I won't say I don't ascribe to, not that I don't ascribe to it. I don't chart the way of leg in, base, leg out. I don't chart that way at this point, but I do chart that way because I look for the peaks and the valleys. So kind of in a roundabout way, I still do chart that way. It's just I don't put the whole thing in the little zone anymore because that takes up too much room on your chart. So we've got then upwards here at 54. That can go up as high as 54.93 as we see here. This one had a gap above here, but it closed up. It got closed by these prices. It's a few little small ones, but it got closed by price action. Okay. I still see us, CCJ does still seem to be bullish, and the 5051 is what I selected for. Is what I selected for our trade. I'm still going with that. This is support over here. This provides you a few between where we currently are and 51. It's going to provide you a few different support areas. Let's go look at, let's see what is 51 has a 78% probability out of the money, very close to 80. And the vertical 5051 is going to pay $14. Again, the market is closed, so it's going to look a little bit different maybe in the morning, but you can watch and see, 5051. Make sure you agree with the strike price, and if you do, go ahead and place your trade. A clean air world. That's what we need. All righty, we got CCJ. Now we're going on to Taiwan Semiconductors. Another semiconductor trade. My fan is glowing, but I'm hot. I'm still hot. Whew. Okay. This is the semiconductors from last week. Let me see. We've got a gap here between 153.77 and looks like it goes up as far as 155.63. Right? That gap is going to want to be filled. There's another little one above that little doji candle here, and this one is 155.72 all the way up to 157.05. Right, we came right into, I don't know if that's resistance. I think we're at all-time highs on Taiwan Semiconductors as well. Yep, we are. Okay, so we see this trend. I would continue down the path of down the path of bullishness. Let me see. I think Taiwan Semiconductors, if you're in the E2T crew, you can see that Taiwan Semiconductors does have, it is on the list. I'm looking at it up here, and I believe it's on the put credit spread list, which means it's still on the bullish. It's still bullish. Mm-mm-mm. Come on, baby, baby. Come on, baby, baby. Come on, baby, baby. Okay. Not sure where you're going. There we go. Taiwan Semiconductors, 150, 150, 150, 152.5. 150, 152.5. So 152.5 is going to be in here. 152.5 is right there. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to give myself a line. 152.5 would be here, right? Right in the midst of this support area, this little setup. You've got a couple of gaps that are between current price and here, and what you would pick as your strike, right? It's going to give you a little bit of room there. So 150, 152.5. Let's go see what that looks like on the option chain. 150, 152.5. Now, currently, that's paying $17. Again, I would want to get at least 25. And I want to see what it is on the single chart. Now, what could happen is the price could open tomorrow morning and could fall back some. And if it pulls back a little bit, then that 152.5 is going to be a strike that would be good too, because it's going to provide more money. If current price is getting closer or coming towards, don't have to be getting closer. If it's coming towards your strike, because current price is 160. So we're talking about 7.5 points away for 152.5, but we got a plus minus 5. So really 155, is a 78% probability out of the money. 152.5 is 87% probability out of the money. Yeah. So I actually would probably go with the 155, not investment advice, just saying. But 155 is at a 78% probability out of the money. So that probably would be a better place, especially, and even because you've got the plus or minus 5, if you take 5 away from here, you're at 155. That does really still put you back in a good place. So if I was looking at 152, 155, well, that one's going to pay $33. Right? But I want you to be sure you're selecting strikes that you are comfortable with, not selecting the strikes that our Alyssa says, right? I'm getting you in the ballpark for you and your own comfort level, right? I want you to trade what you're comfortable with. This is a training session. So yes, I can provide that and say, go with it. I've also maybe exit at 50% or 40%. And you're basically still sitting around waiting until Friday. And then you're wondering what she told us to get this strike, and she gone. So make sure that you get a strike that you're comfortable with. And then if you're in my community, you're always free to ask me any questions about any trade you're in. You're always free to ask me about that. Lorenzo says, I noticed you account for the wick as part of the gap. Is that due to those areas not being a full candle? Yes. For me, when I'm charting gaps, I don't, unless the box has closed the gap, for me, it's not closed. That's me. Now I believe there's a thought process for both sides. There's a people who believe that if the price action went down there, then that's called closed. I personally feel like if the box doesn't go, it's not closed. But whichever one you decide, you need to consistently go with that. All right. So if you decide you want to count the wicks as a closed gap, then just do that all the time. And if you say, like me, that you don't want it to count as the wick, then do that all the time. Right. This lets me know that the price action did come down into the gap, but I don't consider it closed until that's just me. And I'm not alone, but there are other people who feel the other way, and they're not wrong either. Okay. I don't want you to feel like I don't want it to make it sound like my way is the only way you should look at it. Okay. Because there are communities who, folks who feel both sides. All righty, so that was Taiwan Semiconductors. Again, I probably would go at 152.5, 155, but 150, 152.5 is still good stuff too. All righty, go with that. Go with that. I'm gonna go. Let me do a opposite. Let me do a top call credit spread. Let's do that. I'm picking Intel. Intel just been when they get moving though. I'm thinking they're probably gonna be okay. We just gotta get them moving. We gotta get them moving, moving, moving. They gotta get moving. A little bit of this gap was closed with this price action right here, but just a little because this moving average is still pushing us down. They tried to come back together only to separate some more. Okay, so Intel is definitely on the call credit spread list. Most definitely. Let's see what we have here. What strikes that we come up with on this graphic for Intel. 31.5, this should be a 32.5, 31.5, 32.5, saying that 31.5 is the sell leg. And if we're looking at the chart, because I see these zones here, this has played resistance, the bottom of this gap is also going to do that. There we go, 31.8. I got 31.5 as it. You can go with above that if you wanted to go up to 32 just to be beyond all these. You could do that as well. Now I feel like Intel is in a little bit at a support, right? See how it even bounced off of this support here to 28, 29.85. It bounced off that support and has gone back up, but it has been in this zone. It's been in this consolidation zone. So though it's on the call credit spread list, it might be a candidate for an iron condor. Might be a candidate for an iron condor. Speaking of iron condors, what was that trade we did Wednesday or Thursday last week? I think I had to close mine. I think one side of mine was breached. I ended up having to close it early. I think I still made profit on it, but y'all remember? Who remembers the trade we did at the end of, let me see my book. Because I wrote it down. I'm doing better with writing down stuff. I wrote it down. Let me see what I put. Maybe I wrote it down. It's not looking like I wrote it down. What was the trade? Remember we talked about it? Oh, man. Was it last week? The week has gone by without me. No, maybe it wasn't last week. I feel like I did a iron condor. Maybe I put it in our chat. Who remembers? Anybody remember the trade that we did? I'm looking. Y'all remember? Y'all listen. Y'all got to help me remember stuff. I put a trade in. We was an iron condor. We did. I thought it was one day last week. Not Data Dog. I'm looking still. Looking. Oh, ENPH. There we go. In phase. ENPH. Was it with Verizon or Ox? I think it was in phase. I did remember I was on a call and we were looking at it and we looked at what would be good for in phase. And that looks like it was the 23rd. What was that, Thursday? It's Thursday, maybe, in phase 115, 116, and then I did 121, 122. I got to look and see how that turned out. I want to say one side turned out with no problem. The other side, I think both of them closed with no issues. Why didn't I put something here to make sure that I was clear with the report out? I got to do better. Because it was in phase last week. That was on. We looked at it on Thursday for an iron condor. It paid really well. Let me see. I ended up collecting $40-something, I think it was. I did an iron condor and I collected. Yeah, I collected $49 on the put credit spread and the call credit spread. I collected $49 an entry. So these iron condors may be where we lean in. Might be where you lean in because you're going to use one set of collateral and you're going to get money on both sides. So Intel might have been an iron condor, might be. It's a set on the call credit spread list at this point, but let's go see what the numbers look like. If it'll present us with some opportunities for this week. Let's see. So we got a plus minus 93 cents, which that may feel a little uncomfortable because you're only going to go up $1 and down $1. So let's say we go up to what, 32? What? Oh, 31.5. 31.5 is about $1 away. If you want to go to 32, you could. 32 is at 86%, or 31.5 is 76% probability out of the money. And if we went down $1, we'd be at what, 29.5, right, roughly. So 29.5, and I would go with 31.5 or 32. Let's change it to vertical. 29.5 is only going to pay us $3. We don't like that part because we want to get at least $5 off of a side. So $3 from 29.5, and then 30, what do you say, 31.5, we're going to collect $7. So 73 is only going to give us $10, right? We're going to $10 for 50 cent spread, which that in itself isn't bad. To collect $10 while you leverage 50, not so much, not so bad, right? Because that is still a 20% return. But we're going to be close on the price because of the fact that we got a plus minus 0.9. That means we're only going down $1 and going up $1. That means the price needs to end between 29.5 and 31.5. But we can save ourselves by just doing, it's showing as bearish. So let's just go with the call credit spread side, 31.5. 32. And if you want to widen this to 32.5, which is what I have on the graphic, now you take in $10 for 100. So again, wait till Monday, see how it does. But if you wanted to do call credit spread on that, you're going to take in your 10%, right? We probably want to be, if we're talking about closing at the 50 and 60% level, we want to take in more premium. So that way you're not just keeping like $5 or $6, unless you're going to do bigger trades. That way you can take in more premiums on each particular trade, right? That was INTC. Let's do NVIDIA, and then I'm going to go to the Iron Condors, Baidu, and Datadog. Now, NVIDIA, I won't say it's hard to chart, but it's kind of hard to chart because it's definitely at all-time highs. So, I'm not going to tell anybody what they shouldn't do as it pertains to their own money because you're the CEO of your own portfolio. But there's other really good options that aren't going to cost anywhere near as much as it costs. This is me speculating. People may start buying up NVIDIA, but they may not, because what I've seen in the past is when an announcement has been given to that they're going to split, what people who are holders are doing, how I did in the past. They'll mean they'll do it with NVIDIA because NVIDIA seems to be a rare bird. But what we saw people do in the past was that when it got really high, they sold shares, right? Sold shares and waited till it split. And once it split, then they bought more because they had already pulled their profits off the table. They had gotten their profit. So then now they had more money to buy more with. So generally when the stock splits, it doesn't split and run to the moon immediately. It splits and then it has to do its thing. So other people start coming in. Those who, held through the split, they sell. These things happen. Some people who are now able to buy, they do start buying. But what moves the price of a stock is not our buying, it's big institutional buying. So it's not us. So those same institutions who have NVIDIA will, this is a speculation, could sell them off, and then they wait for the price to drop back down, then they buy again before it goes back up. Same thing people have said they've been doing with Bitcoin. They run it up, sell it, let it fall back down, and when it falls back down, they can buy more. But they're pulling their profits off the top, right? It's all a game, as Mike says. It's all a racket. It's all a racket. So just know that. But if you're trading it as far as options go, you just want to trade strategically, right? There is a gap here between 957 and 1021, which is about what, $65, right? There we are at all-time highs, 1,064 in the pre-market, or that's not pre-market. It closed at 1068. So, I mean, of course, it's bullish. So if I was going to trade it from a spread side, I would go with a put credit spread below this gap. I would get below all these resistance, all this support, sorry, at the 956. Now that's going to feel uncomfortable, 959, 956, because current price is $100 away. So that may feel uncomfortable. But let's go, uncomfortable as far as you might not get the premiums you're looking for. But we got a plus minus 42. So if we take 42 off this is like 1010, right? 1010 is a 86% probability out of the money here. You can go in closer if you like. You want to go at 1030, 1025. That's something you can do as well. But just know inside that gap, definitely I wouldn't personally go above this 50% mark. And the 50% mark is 991. But that's your me. There's also a gap here between these two. There's also a gap here between those two candles. All right, there's a gap right in here, which is from, looks like 1035.97 all the way up to 1043. So about $5. $5 gap is here. If it comes back into that, then, that'll be a good trade in itself. Depending on what happens here, I think you got to wait and see what happens now that we're at these all-time highs. Janae says, agree. Right now, it's buyers in the market. Many sold already. Yeah, I would definitely watch NVIDIA and see how it plays. You see people moving their money. Maybe they're moving it from Taiwan Semiconductor. Those guys. That's why NVIDIA had such a green and them other guys had reds, because NVIDIA, basically, when they announced they were going to do their split, everybody got really excited, which I'm thinking is a good thing to own. NVIDIA has a lot of room. It's just, will it go to that room now? It might, but it's going to need to come back in here and do some stuff. Oh, good, Pierre. Wonderful. Hank, great for hanging out with us. Definitely subscribe. Tell all your friends that we're over here. Tell your friends we're over here. So NVIDIA, if I was trading it, I would trade it as a put credit spread, right? Thank you. I would trade it as a put credit spread. I'm looking at the trade. If you look at like a plus minus 42, I would maybe go with that, which puts us at 1010, something like that. So 1,005, 1,010, that's going to feel far. Like I said, 1,005, 1,010, that's paying $114 for a 5 spread, which that ain't bad. Shoot, to collect $114 for 380 something collateral, that's not bad at all. To be that far away from price and still be, maybe the 1,000, because the 1,000, of course, is that psychological number, 995, 1,000. That's only paying $37, but it's a 5 spread. So, if you're feeling a little more froggy, you could go up a 5 here. And there's something's wrong with this, because this shouldn't be debit. It's definitely a credit. So, yeah. Pierre says, I think NVIDIA is going to be doing well for a bit. I bought a lot for some covered calls down the road. Right now, it's too strong unless I go with a 9 Delta. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't cover call it at this point. I wouldn't cover it at this point, because when it runs, it runs. I wouldn't do covered calls on it. Not unless you're trying to let your shares go. And it doesn't sound like you're trying to do that. Okay. So that was NVIDIA. If you're going to trade it as a put credit spread. If you're going to do that, watch and see. Keep your eyes. Sometimes you trade other things, like trade SOXL, something where NVIDIA is trade SPY, something where NVIDIA is a major player, but you're not trading NVIDIA by itself. If you want, everybody, you're the CEO of your own portfolio. So everybody manages their own monies. Everybody manages their own monies. Jamie, are you here? I'm not hearing you. You had made any comments. I'm assuming you're not here. Okay, this is Baidu. Now, Baidu fell on the, yeah, you definitely let her run. If you're up that much on it, you need to hold that. That's called an asset. Baidu is on the neutral list. It's on the neutral list on Peakbot, which means it's not bullish or bearish. It is neutral. So I see this gap. Part of it, I think this gap has entirely been filled. Nothing. I just was wondering where you were. I hadn't seen you comment. I like your new name. Let's see. I don't have a question. Thanks for asking, though. When I was asking about CCJ, I was expecting you to tell me what they were. Maybe you weren't on yet. Yep, there's a gap here above Baidu. This one here is filled, so I can take this one off. Can take that one off. There's a few gaps. Some of these are small between some of these candles. It's Baidu. Now some people don't really do, they don't do Chinese stock trading. And that's definitely, again, I haven't traded Baidu, I don't think ever, but because it's neutral, I'm putting it on the list. Right. But it's on the neutral. So let's say if we do the iron condor here, which is one of the reasons why we look at the neutrals, is for the iron condors to see 94.78. I do see some stuff in here though, so you really could put in a little bit closer, 98.45, and there's stuff in here as well, 103. And of course these gaps are going to provide some resistance as well. But let's see what we see for numbers if we're looking on the option chain. If we're looking on the option chain, I probably would go with 96.97. Again, I'm pretty conservative when we're dealing with iron condors and with the numbers that I put on the graphic. So 96.97 over here is a 80% probability out of the money. The next one's 72. So let's go with 97 and 103. Nope, 104. I did review AMD. I probably will go 104. What did I say? 97 and 104. 97 and 104. So 97 is going to pay us $15. 97 is paying $15. And 104, what did I say, $17? 104 is paying $14. So a total of $31. I'll come back to it, Pierre. So a total of $31, the 17 and the 14. Of course, market is closed, but 17 plus 14, now you're going to take in $31 on a one spread, which means you're going to leverage $69 of collateral for this trade. You're going to take in $31 and leverage $69. Okay, that's for Baidu as an iron condor. And I don't enter iron condors all at one time. I let the price, if it's going down a bit, then I enter the put credit spread. If it starts climbing up, then I enter the call credit spread. That way you get better premiums when you do them separate like that. I don't put them in as an iron condor. There's no need, and you're not going to get the best premiums that way. You're not going to get the best premiums that way. Baidu, then we got Datadog, and then I'll swing back to AMD. Okay, looking at the chart. I don't know how I got that mouse. I don't know how I picked that. I usually have one arrow. I'm not sure what I did. Okay, so this was Datadog had an earnings gap that went right on back up to filling. Ooh, yeah, I love it when it looks like this. These are pretty looking trades. But Support would be at the bottom of this one here. We've got some places where it took a break. This was going up and it did. So I would do with this gap as well. 122. This filled up this gap. You see the top of this gap here. If I put the line here, is right where that candle from Friday stopped. 123. And if I was going to go up, I probably would go up in here. There's a few things happening in here too that could provide you some more stopping power. Could provide you some more stopping power. This was a big old gap over here from April 25th to the 26th. And that got filled by these dudes. There's a little gap up here that needs to be marked. Okay. There we are. Janae, do not start bothering him. Because listen, we wake up, you wake him up, we gonna be done. We're not on Zoom, so he can't come back. He can't clap back from here. Do not wake up the beast. Okay, so Datadog, if I was looking here, current price is in the 123, between 123.42 and 122.51, right in this zone here. I would go up to this resistance at 125. And listen, I'm not a part of that, Jamie. 118 is down here. But let's go look at the option chain. 118 and 125 is what I say. We got a plus minus 4. So if we add 4 to this, that puts us at 127, almost 128. And if we subtract 4 from this, that puts us at 119. I think I said 119. Let's go back to single. 119 here is at 82%. And 127, I said. 127 and 128 is at 81%. So let's go 128 and 119. 128 and 119. Okay, 128 is paying $16 for a one spread, 16% return on your money. Yes, we'll take it. Right, Datadog. And then the 119 paying another $13. So what we at? $39, $29, $29. $29 we're at. Good till canceled. Put in 29, take out 29, leverage 71. So I actually like Datadog. I know they're called Datadog, but what kind of data do they do? What does Datadog do? Are they just a data storage place? Is Datadog just data storage? Anybody got any input on what does Datadog do? All righty, so AMD, swinging back to that. Datadog basically makes network traffic faster. Okay, cool. We need that. Cloud applications. We need both of those things. Okay, so here we are. This is what we talked about with AMD. If I was looking here, again, I would definitely go with some bullish movement. But it is a little bit of consolidation happening here for the last 6 or 7 days. But I wouldn't fool up with AMD on the top. That's like fooling up with NVIDIA on the top. So I would go with, let's go back to the trade, see what we got for numbers. Plus or minus 6. So if we subtracted 6, that puts us at 160. 160 is an 80% probability out of the money. So 157, 160. Is where I would work out. 157, 160 in here. That's paying $37. I would go with no. I would get no, if you're comfortable with it going bullish, I believe AMD is bullish, but you want to be in a place where you're feeling comfortable with your strike. Current price is 166. The option chain show the plus or minus 6, plus or minus 6.4. Of course, that'll change a little bit once the market opens. But that puts us right at 160. Our chart says 160 is a good area. The gap is down here. 159.70, same as 16, close enough to 160. Pierre said I did a bull put spread. So you did a put credit spread. You and we got all the names. A put credit spread. How much money did you take in? How much money did you receive when you did your bull put spread? Okay. Now that we got people back on, I want to swing back around real quick to the fact that PeakBot is now live on Schwab. Yes, you took in 390. You must have widened out the spread on AMD. So Schwab, PeakBot is live on Schwab. If you need to get it connected, we can. If you need, maybe in the chat, if you need me to show how to disconnect from TD Ameritrade and connect to Schwab, you can say me in the chat and I'll go through it. Otherwise, we can look at it in the Telegram. But if you have not signed up for PeakBot, but you want to get signed up for PeakBot now that they are on Schwab and you're ready for your trial and your money off and all the good things, use peakbot.com/E2T. Use peakbot.com/E2T. Okay. I'm going to share. Let me find my screen. Mr. Marion, I see you there. So we'll look at it. Okay, so if you're gonna sign up, go on and sign up over there. You can you start running your trend, running not the trend, the put credit spread or the wheel bot. You can start doing that and make automated money do its thing for you. All right. Sim May is coming to a close. Hopefully you made some good decisions and some money and stuff in your sim. I don't know if you're ready to go live yet. Don't go live till you're ready. If you're ready, go ahead and go live. If you weren't here, we're doing the Start with the Chart challenge. Starts June 3rd through the 7th. It's a 5-day challenge, 7 p.m. each night. It's free to enroll, but if you want recordings and all the good things that go along with it, charting analysis, trade ideas, you want to look at specific charts, you want to add some questions, then the VIP is $47. You can go to educatortotrader.com and get signed up. You can go and get signed up. Sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. Yes. Okay, I'm going to go look at PeakBot so we can change from TD Ameritrade to Schwab. You want to go to usepeakbot.com. Usepeakbot.com and sign yourself in. Where are we? Usepeakbot.com. Sign yourself in. Let me see. The letters are so small. So small. Is it that one? Maybe it's that one. Yep, I know. Okay. This is what I want you to do. Once you're in, hey Ward, once you're inside of PeakBot, you're going to want to go to where it says account. You want to go to where it says account. Okay. Then you want to pick profile, account, and then profile. Scroll yourself down. At the bottom here where it says your account, over here, yours should say disconnect from TD Ameritrade. It says disconnect from TD Ameritrade. So that's what you're going to want to do. Disconnect it from TD Ameritrade. Once you've done that, disconnect from TD Ameritrade, and then I think after because when I went looking for it, it just the reassign and pop back up. Okay, I think what you're gonna do next, Mr. Marion, is go to. Oh my goodness, my mouse is lost. Go to up here where it says when you're on the home page. You're on the home page, and then you go in. As soon as you click on add a new stock, it's gonna pop up and say that you're not connected. As soon as you pick add a new stock. But I think you can also do it here where it says broker integrated. Broker, yours is probably going to say you're not connected. After you disconnect TD Ameritrade, you must disconnect TD Ameritrade first. So you're going to go account, profile, scroll all the way down, and then disconnect from TD Ameritrade. It's going to say, you sure you want to disconnect? You're going to say yes. After you've disconnected, you come back to the home page. And then when it says broker, it's going to give you the option right here at broker in order to get yourself reconnected. Okay. And then it's going to let you pick Tradier, Schwab, Tasty Trades. Those are the three that it's working with. Tradier, Schwab, and Tasty Trades. It's going to let you pick. And then it'll ask you which account you want to connect. And then you go from there. Okay. If that doesn't work out for you, which it should, you can always come down here where this questions is and ask your question, and somebody will answer you soonest. They're really good about answering. You're welcome. They're really good about answering quickly. Okay. We're going to start with the chart next month. Don't forget, we've got morning call in the morning. 9:25, 9:30-ish. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're hanging out with us, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you want to hang out with us more perfectly and be a part of our membership, you're very welcome to do that. Go to educatortotrader.com and sign up for the membership. I told you this week's coaching call, or Saturday's coaching call, is going to be how to defend your credit spreads. How to defend your credit spreads. Do we have anything else? All hearts and minds clear. All hearts and minds clear. We've covered lots of stuff. We went through the week. We went through integrating PeakBot. We went through, oh, you know what we did not do? Lord, I don't forgot one of the main things. Let me share my calendar. Not that we don't do this every single morning, but doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it today. The meetings for the week. I'm not sure how I forgot this. Tomorrow, we've got some FOMC members speaking. Well, that's tonight at midnight. Then HPI, I think that's a housing prices index, is tomorrow morning at 9 before the market opens. CB consumer confidence is at 10. FOMC members are speaking, 2 of them at 1:05 tomorrow in the afternoon. Keep that in mind. Wednesday, we've got Richmond Manufacturing. FOMC member Bostic is speaking. Williams is speaking. That's all on Wednesday. Thursday, we got preliminary GDP. The market always moves with that GDP data. Preliminary GDP, unemployment claims, these all together, they're before the market opens, but the market responds to them. Pending home sales is here. FOMC member Williams is going to speak at noon. All right. And then on Friday, we got another red folder. Core PCE price index is at 8:30 in the morning. Chicago PMI. FOMC member Bostic will speak at 6:15 at night. That's after the market closes. So each day this week, except for Wednesday, we have orange folder, but all the other 4 days, we have a red folder. We have a red folder each day this week. Okay. We're going to trade accordingly. Now, a short week is good for us because we get in less days. We have to expose ourselves to the market. But you got to watch out. You want to make sure that you're getting good premiums, right? We got some guidelines. Hopefully, you all also have been managing your trading plan. Not every weekend, but if you had a rough week of trading, you need to revisit your trading plan to make sure that you're ready, right? That you got a reassessment of what trades went well, what didn't go well, and then how can you make sure that you're ready for subsequent weeks. Okay. All righty, everyone. This has been wonderful. It's been wonderful hanging out with you all. I will see you in the morning. Hasta mañana or in la mañana. We'll see you in the morning. And we'll be on here at 9:25. All righty. Those who are in my community, please go into the Telegram chat and check out what's over there. There's people who hung out with us during our 6 weeks. I'm waiting for you all to come on in the room, and go ahead and join up with us. All right. All righty, everyone. I will see you in the morning. And of course, we love to stay green, and we all about getting this money. All right. I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Let me find my mouse. There we go. Whoop. In the stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, sweetheart. It's time.